Hi everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Perspectives Podcast. Now, if you've seen all of these dreamy Instagram posts with dog parents hiking with their dogs, or like sipping coffee at cute cafes, or camping with their pets, exploring new cities, all of that. But what you may not be seeing are perhaps the not so glamorous moments, managing an anxious dog or cleaning after them, dealing with unexpected situations, all of that. Now, if you're a pet parent thinking of traveling with dogs or are already traveling with dogs, this is the episode for you. Because today we're talking to Nadia and Reggie, who will be sharing with us the experiences of traveling together. Hi Nadia, welcome
Hello.
to the show. So tell us about your first ever trip with Reggie.
Okay, so the first ever trip that I did with Reggie was at the Gibbon Retreat Bentong. And the reason why we chose it is, so firstly, we are based in Kuala Lumpur, and the
Okay.
Gibbon Retreat is about an hour away from Kuala Lumpur. So
Right.
it was close enough
Yeah.
as his first trip. And the other reason is we wanted someplace that is quite private, so that there's not that many people around. And my husband and I, we love nature.
Right.
So my husband, he is a nature photographer.
Oh.
And at the Bentong Retreat,
Right.
they have this chalet called the Treetop Chalet, where you're literally surrounded by fruit trees.
That's so nice.
Yeah, there's a ledge for him to set up his camera, and he can just sit there and photograph animals.
Wow.
Right? And then also at the Bentong Retreat, they've got this river nearby, and Reggie, being a golden retriever, he loves swimming.
Water, yeah.
So it's actually a perfect place to bring your
Nice.
pet as a first-time dog owner traveling with your dog.
Right, so it's not too far away. It's a bit of a private area. It has everything that you kind of need for your family and for Reggie,
Yes,
right? So,
yep,
okay.
yep.
And then since then, where do you guys always travel? It like three of you, like Reggie and you and your husband.
Sometimes it's with my husband, and sometimes it's with my friends.
I see. And
Yeah.
since then, where have you guys, as in like with Reggie, where have you guys traveled to?
Okay, so being based in Kuala Lumpur, we have traveled throughout Peninsular Malaysia. So we have been
Wow.
to 6 states, which is around Kuala Lumpur.
Wow.
And then to the nature retreats in Selangor, for example, like Sekeping Serenda.
Yeah.
We have been to the Dusun in Negeri Sembilan.
Right.
So Pahang, it's Cerating and Janda Baik, and Penang and Kedah, which is Langkawi.
Oh my gosh, I think Reggie is, very well traveled, than maybe even more traveled than some humans, so cool.
Possibly.
So what is the craziest thing that has happened while traveling with Reggie?
Alright, so I'll share not so much the craziest thing, but the most heartwarming thing is when I brought Reggie to the beach for the very first time, which is Ruby's Resort in Cerating.
Oh.
Okay, so Reggie, being a golden retriever, he loves water and
Yeah.
he loves swimming. So we actually bring Reggie swimming every week in KL anyway. So
Oh.
his only experience with a body of water has been a swimming pool.
Right.
So I knew that if I brought Reggie to the beach, that
Wow,
his mind,
you will love it.
yeah, his mind was gonna be blown.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happened. So we brought him to the beach, right? And then he was like running and running and running.
Oh my
And he
gosh.
started swimming. And as a pet parent, it was the best thing ever.
Correct.
So adding on top of that, we went during the surf season. And we went with one of my friends, and she's a surfer. So we hung around. There's this one village where all the surfers hang out. So that's where they go surfing. That's where they go to eat. That's where everyone hangs out. And it's a small village, right? So we kept on bumping into the same people. And by the end of the 3 days, Reggie became like a celebrity at
Oh.
the village. It's like everyone knew his name. Everyone knew Reggie. And then obviously,
So
nobody
cute.
remembered my name. I was Reggie's mom.
Yep, that's always the case.
Yeah. So then, we will go to the surf spots,
Yeah.
and all those surfer guys will be playing with him. They'll be carrying their boards, and then Reggie will be walking after them, swimming with them.
Cute.
And the surfer guys, they wanted to try and teach Reggie how to swim.
To surf?
Yeah, they wanted to teach Reggie how to surf.
Wow.
And when we went to the restaurants, people would serve Reggie first. That they bring him water.
Wow, he was truly the celebrity.
Yeah,
That's
and then there was one guy with a guitar, and he
Yeah.
was serenading to Reggie.
So cute.
So it was a very heartwarming experience.
I'm sure he also had a good time being
had a great
the
time.
center of attention.
He had a great time.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's amazing. So I have a couple of myths and questions that I often hear pet parents talk about, even myself included. Like, I'm just like wondering if this is real or not, and I would love to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
So the first one is dogs naturally love adventure. Do you think that's true?
For me, it actually depends on the dog and depends on the dog's nature and how outgoing they are.
Yeah.
So, for example, Reggie, he's a very outdoorsy kind of dog.
Yeah.
So he likes going on hikes. He likes swimming. And also his personality, like he likes to explore new places. So in that sense, like Reggie is the perfect travel companion. And on the
Yeah.
flip side, I do know of some dogs, maybe like the smaller breeds,
Yeah.
like poodles maybe, who I don't see them so much as like hiking dogs or adventurous
Yeah.
dogs. So maybe those may not be the best kind of dogs to go traveling with.
I think it also depends on the personality. Like I used to have a Shih Tzu, not so much of like a. I definitely don't see him hiking.
Right.
But I've also seen like other pet parents who have like Shih Tzus and they go hiking as well. So I think
Right.
it probably depends on the personality, and the breeds definitely
Right.
matter, right? Okay. So another question that I have is that if a hotel says that they're pet friendly, it must be great. Someone who is very well traveled, what do you think?
Not necessarily, because all the hotels are different.
Yeah.
So I am aware of some hotels that even though it's quote unquote pet friendly, it's very restrictive.
Yeah.
So for example, the dogs, they have to be in their crates while they're in their rooms.
Oh,
And
what?
yeah, so you know, as a pet parent whose dog is indoors, right? Reggie
Yeah.
is never in his crate, right? You know, he gets to go wherever he wants to. He gets to lie down. He gets to be with us. So to me, that's not great.
So that's like real life experience that has happened before.
It has not happened because I would do my research
Right.
on all of these hotels.
Yeah.
And if a hotel has that kind of restriction, to me, it's like, yeah, you know, you're pet friendly, but not really.
So you would actually like do your research, find the hotels,
Yes.
and then call them up and like really ask them like what are the restrictions and stuff like that.
Most of the hotels are quite good. So if they're restrictive, all the information is already on, like, you know, on their website.
website or
so then, if that's the case, then I honestly won't even bother going.
Okay. What about this myth that traveling with dog is too stressful? Best to just avoid it.
I will talk through my experience
Yes.
about traveling with Reggie through Malaysia. To me, it's actually not hard at all, and we've had the best time ever. But then again, Reggie, he's a very hardy dog.
Yeah.
He's a very hardy dog, and like he's up for attention. So at the end of the day, it really depends on where you go and if you have information about which are the best hotels to stay at and the activities to do, which is why every time when I travel with Reggie,
Yeah.
I have this Instagram account. So it's called Nadia and Reggie, where I share my travel adventures with Reggie.
Right.
And I think that there is a lot of interest within the Malaysian audience for this kind of
Definitely.
information. So just to share with you, there was one reel where I traveled to Sekeping Serenda, and
Yeah.
it got 2 million views.
What?
Yeah.
What was it about?
It was just like going to Sekeping Serenda with Reggie.
Oh.
Right? Okay, and then something I realized that like every time when I did a travel reel with Reggie, it will go viral. The minimum number of views that I would get is like 100,000. And then when I look at the comments, right, people were always asking me about like, you know, more advice, insights, tips, information and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's why I decided to create the ultimate dog-friendly travel guide to Malaysia ebook,
Ooh.
where I share all my experience of traveling with my dog throughout Malaysia, which includes all the different states, the best hotels to stay, dog-friendly restaurants and things to do. Because I know that there are a lot of dog owners in Malaysia that want to travel with their dog.
Definitely. I mean, myself as a pet owner, I always struggle with traveling because like I want to travel, but I feel really bad leaving my dog alone at home. But then like I don't know where to go traveling with him. So I think the guide would really help. Where can we get the guidebook? Is it on your...
Okay, so if you go to any of my social channels, so Instagram and also TikTok, Facebook, and on YouTube, Nadia and Reggie, there'll be a link. So you can just click on the link and get my ebook.
Okay. We'll definitely check it out. So I think traveling with dog, it's a little bit like parenting. Like you have to really be calm. You have to, be prepared, expect the unexpected, right? But before we get into that, I want to do a bit of a reality check, right? For dog parents who are thinking of traveling with their dog, how can a pet parent actually tell if their dog is travel ready?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So first and foremost is that your dog enjoys car rides.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing. A lot of dogs actually get anxious in the car, right?
So we go out a lot with Reggie. So even before we started traveling with Reggie, within Kuala Lumpur itself, if there is any place that I can bring Reggie, if I'm going out with friends, if I know that it's dog friendly, I will bring him.
Yeah.
And then, like Reggie has developed this mindset that whenever he's going into a car, it's gonna be an adventure.
Oh.
Yeah, so he loves car rides. Number one, he loves car rides. And then number two, he doesn't get car sick. He has never gotten car sick. So it's really, really easy. Number three is it's his personality. As I mentioned previously, he loves to explore. He loves adventure. And whenever I bring him somewhere, he's so excited. He's so happy. And then he just like goes everywhere and then sniffs. He's, for most part, very calm and gentle. He's not reactive. He loves humans. So that makes it easier.
True.
And then to be trained. And what I mean by that is his sit-stay is very good. So I'm able to like control a situation before it escalates.
So yeah, I think it does seem like not every dog could be a good travel dog, right? But I think that's okay. Like, they have their own personality. But I still think that having some travel skills are good because it's very essential because we have to bring our dogs to see the vet or go out to the park, things like that, right? So I want to also know if you have actually come across any unexpected situations and what happened and how did you deal with it? I mean, given that Reggie is quite a calm dog, but have you actually encountered any unexpected situations?
Okay, so I will share something that was completely unexpected.
Okay.
And it was our first time to Georgetown. So as a human, when you go to Georgetown, like what do you imagine? It's like, oh, we're gonna go for chendol, we're gonna go to the murals and take photos, we're gonna have all the good food. So the image that I have about traveling with Reggie through Georgetown is that we'll be walking through like all the streets
and everything.
And then like taking photos in front of the murals, like supposedly really cute vacation, right? Unfortunately, it couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. So we stayed in a dog-friendly hostel in the heart of Georgetown.
Okay.
With the expectation where we'll be able to walk everywhere.
Yeah.
And then what we realized, right, within like literally the first few minutes when we arrived is that from the hostel, we wanted to go to a dog-friendly restaurant nearby, which was just a few blocks away. As we were walking Reggie, there are actually a lot of stray dogs in Georgetown. And then they were barking at Reggie and we couldn't walk more than a block. So then what my husband had to do is the hotel didn't have parking. So from the street parking, he'll have to drive to the lobby of the hostel. He'll have to drive us to the restaurant, make sure that we get there safely and then park again. Okay, that's number one.
Okay.
And then number two, something that didn't cross our minds is that like literally Georgetown is just like a lot of streets, right? And you can hardly find a patch of grass to potty.
Oh.
So Reggie has to potty like every morning and every evening. So because we had to bring Reggie to potty, my husband had to bring the car to the hostel first thing in the morning. We had to drive out to the park, okay, let Reggie potty, drive back to the hostel. And then thirdly, the visions that we had about walking along the streets of Georgetown and taking photographs, right? It just became too troublesome because at all those places where they have the murals, there's a lot of traffic. So it just didn't make sense for my husband to like bring the car, drive us to the mural to take photo. So it was a very stressful trip.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Personally, I wouldn't bring Reggie again. Would I advise that to other dog owners? Maybe if you have a small dog that you can carry with you everywhere, then you'll have a completely different experience.
Yeah, okay. For those of you who are traveling to Penang anytime soon, something to just kind of consider. And I think, as to your point, right, like the prep work beforehand is so important, right? Like doing your homework, understanding what the situation is, and I think also staying vigilant during the time and being very like resourceful to find out like.
Yeah. So it's like all the small things, right? It's like it really didn't cross my mind that there'll be stray dogs on the street.
I mean, these are unexpected situations,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so very curious to know as well with how you work with Reggie on this, because for me, I think I tend to overpack quite a bit when traveling, like because I don't know what I'll need, and I don't know how to like handle like unexpected situations. So my travel bag is filled with way too many things.
Sure.
And I think some parents either they overpack like me or underpack. I would like to actually see what's in your travel bag.
What's in my travel bag?
Yeah.
Okay, so I consider my husband and I to be like light packers.
Okay.
So literally when we travel with Reggie, it's just this and it's this.
Okay.
So this is the cooler, and in the cooler we've got this ice pack here. And the reason for this cooler is for Reggie's raw food.
Reggie is he's very concerned now.
So yes, I am a raw food parent. And okay, so this is Reggie's bone broth, right?
Oh.
So Reggie is on a 50-50 diet. In the morning, he has his kibble, and he cannot have his kibble dry. He has to have his kibble with his bone broth.
I see.
So imagine it to be like, his cereal and milk. So this is his milk, bone broth. And yeah, so this is his dinner. Okay. So this is one of the things that we pack. And then in the bag is all his other stuff, right? Hello. Okay. You want to help show the audience what's in your bag? Okay. So Reggie's very excited because his snacks are here.
Yeah,
So this is his snack bag. Okay. So literally, guys, that's it. Okay, this is like all I bring.
I think, would you consider yourself a minimalist?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, minimalist. Okay. All right. So first of all, I'm going to share with you guys how we dispose of Reggie's poop. Okay, whenever I tell this to people, like everyone gets horrified.
Okay.
Okay. So I call this the pooperware.
Pooperware, right?
All right, so just to give you context, my husband is in conservation. He's a conservationist. He worked for WWF for more than 10 years.
Right.
So he is the real life Captain Planet.
Wow.
Right? As such, he is very against single-use plastic bags.
Yeah.
So when we got Reggie, we were trying to figure out how to not use single-use plastic bags. So this is what we use. Okay, guys.
Oh.
This is a...
and so you just like pick it up and store in there.
So we pick it up, we store it in, and then like when we go back to our house, like we just flush it.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we have. We have this with us at all times.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-oh.
That's your poopy. That's your poopy.
Okay. Towel and shampoo and grooming stuff.
Yep.
Okay. So his bowl and kibble and water. Reggie's favorite toy is a tennis ball.
Of course.
And finally, the most important of the most important is Reggie's treats.
Ooh. So that's all really.
That's all. Yeah, that's it. I think we are very lucky because Reggie doesn't have sensitive skin.
I see.
Right?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
we don't need to travel with a blower, right? We just towel dry him, and then we put him under the fan, and he dries off naturally.
That's
so
good.
so we are very, very, very lucky.
Yeah, that's actually, I definitely overpacked then. I have way more things than all of this. So this would be enough for like a full day out?
This is enough for the whole trip.
Whole trip?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay, interesting. Well, thanks for sharing that. I think it's really interesting. Really helps us get a good gauge of like, what to pack for a whole trip, you were saying. Okay, so can you share with us where the best dog-friendly place that you've ever been?
Okay, like seriously, legit, the most...
Don't gatekeep this, tell us.
Yeah, the best dog-friendly place that I've ever been to is Temple Tree Resort in Langkawi.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, all those dog-friendly resorts near Kuala Lumpur is mostly like camping sites, chalets, and it's not like a proper resort. Whereas Temple Tree, firstly, it's a beautiful resort with beautiful grounds, like a proper resort for humans, where they treat your pets as part of the family. So let me get more into it.
Yes.
When we first went there, when we checked in, right? So Reggie actually got a check-in gift.
Oh my gosh, so
He
cute.
got a toy and then he got treats.
So smart.
Yeah.
Of the hotel to do that, yeah.
The room was beautiful. Reggie was allowed everywhere, including the bar, including the restaurants. I remember our very first morning when we were having breakfast at their restaurant, right? So my husband and I were eating and Reggie was with us. The staff came over and they fussed over him. They fussed and fussed and fussed. And then they were like, oh, has Reggie gone for his morning walk? Not yet. Like, can we walk him? So then my husband and I just relaxed by the cafe while the staff walked Reggie.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a journey, which involves going to Langkawi by ferry.
Yeah.
But like we had the most amazing time. It was so dreamy that for me personally, I would want to go back there once a year.
Well, because you said you took a ferry to Langkawi, right?
Yes,
What was
yes.
the entire duration from KL, Kuala Lumpur, to Langkawi, including like the ferry rides and everything?
Okay, so to get to Langkawi, with your dog, you'll need to go by the ferry which will accept your car. Right?
Yeah.
And that ferry, it leaves from Kuala Perlis.
Okay.
So then, like, you would have to travel from Kuala Lumpur to Kuala Perlis, which
Right.
is about like a 6-hour journey. And then the ferry ride itself, I can't remember at the top of my head, but I believe it was 2 hours.
Right.
So the whole thing was 8 hours. It's a bit of a journey.
Bit of a journey, yeah.
I mean, there are not that many places as magical as the Temple Tree Resort. So for me, it's worth doing.
Nice. Okay, so clearly, like, I mean, there's a bit of like challenge, a lot of like prep work to do beforehand, a lot of like long hours as well, right? But you know, and it always may not be smooth sailing, but you keep doing it, going on like multiple trips with Reggie, and I know you go on like how many times of hikes a week with Reggie, right? A lot of hikes a week.
Yeah.
What makes traveling with Reggie so special that it outweighs all of these challenges?
Okay, so for perspective, I'm a lady in my 40s. I have no kids. And Reggie is like my son.
Yeah.
And my husband travels a lot for work. So Reggie he's at home with me all the time.
Yeah.
And even though he's not a great guard dog, right? You know, he's a good watchdog.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone at the gate, he barks.
Yeah.
And like I'll know that I'm always safe. And
Yeah.
he's my best friend.
Yeah.
So whenever I travel with him, especially when I brought him to the beach for the very first time, and like when I see how happy he is, it makes me happier.
Yeah.
And like the feeling lingers, like
Yeah.
just seeing him happy. So I just want to recreate that moment for both of us as much as I can.
Yeah, just creating that joy and that memories that last
Exactly.
forever for the both of you.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so heartwarming to hear. For pet parents who are considering traveling with their dog for the very first time, I think you've already shared a bit here and there earlier as well. But what's one thing every pet parent should do before traveling with their dog?
Okay, I will share two things, right?
Okay.
So a lot of the places where I go to with Reggie is mostly like nature-based places because
Yeah.
that's where Reggie can be free to roam around.
Yeah.
So one of the first things I do is pet parents, very important. Make sure that your pet is protected,
Right.
especially with heartworm medication
That's true,
because mosquito bites, right? That's number one. And number two, for those that can afford it, like please get insurance.
Oh, actually, I'm really interested and I would love to learn more about that because, like, when I had my dog, I did not actually get an insurance.
Right.
Like, how does it work? And, like, if you don't mind sharing, like, what's the coverage? And,
Right.
like, is it hard to claim? Have you actually done any claims before?
Yeah. Okay, so how I actually got into it, right? So I consider myself the crazy dog mom.
Yeah.
And then like within my neighborhood, all the dog moms talk to each other.
Yeah.
So then one of the dog moms her dog got sick.
Yeah.
And then had to go for medical treatment and stuff like that, right? It was like 7,000. And then she managed to claim everything because of insurance. And then when I heard that, right, the kiasuness in me kicked in. I'm like, oh my God. So that's actually how I got into it. So I'm not sponsored. I'm paying every single cent of Reggie's insurance. So
Yeah.
the insurance that we're using is Oyen.
Okay.
And then I think Oyen is in partner with MSIG.
Right.
So they have insurance for cats and dogs.
What is MSIG?
It's one of those Malaysian insurance companies.
Okay.
Yeah. they have 3 tiers. They have the basic one, they have the middle one, and then they have the most expensive one. So Reggie is in the middle one. His maximum amount that we can claim is 6,000, but I'm still on the old plan, and they have a new plan where you can claim a maximum amount of 10,000 a year.
Oh.
10,000 a year.
Okay.
So there was once Reggie had a medical emergency.
Right.
So then rushed him to the vet. Everything is done online. So then I just get the receipt from the vet. I upload it with the amount, and I got the money back within 2 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think every pet parent should definitely consider this.
Actually,
Because during the final years of my dog, we were in and out of the hospital for like a couple of weeks, and I don't even dare look at my credit card bill, man. Like, it's probably a lot. But yeah, I've not bought any insurance, so that's something that I would definitely, especially if you're traveling with your dog so often, right? That's something that we should consider.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for the very great tip. So thanks for sharing all of these new perspectives for us pet parents. I think I've learned a lot from you today. Can you share with us one perspective about traveling with Reggie that has changed your life?
Wow. Okay. Traveling with Reggie has actually completely changed my life in ways that I've never expected. So, for example, I used to be in a real job as a product marketeer. And because of all the interest that I've gotten, sharing our journey on social media and all this attention and interest that we're getting, right? I've actually quit my job to do this full time, completely changed my life. So I suppose there's a perspective, right? Bring your dog traveling and it may change your life.
That's true. That's amazing. Wow, it has really completely changed your life 360 degrees, right?
Completely.
So from working in a corporate job to now a stay-at-home dog mom.
Yes. Yeah. So I literally get to travel around Malaysia.
That's amazing.
And have fun with my dog as my full-time job.
Wow, I think that would be a lot of dog parents' dream job. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing all of that with us today. I'm very excited and happy to have you and Reggie in the studio. I think for all of you pet parents who are considering to travel or are already traveling, here are some great tips that I think you'll find very useful in today's episode. So thank you so much, and signing off. See you guys in the next episode.